Hey, welcome back to Milton Daily Homes. Chuck here, and we have a list of 27 properties today. What I do in the Monday list is, because we're going back multi-days throughout the weekend, I click this price button because for some reason it appears in the order of the listings and not price order, and so you've just got to make sure that it goes in that order if you want to follow along with what we talk about in the video. So let's get started. And we had a listing at 235 Bronte, I think a week and a half ago, that was a little bit more than this, but it was actually in very good shape. Problem with this is it's pretty much entry point. So this one is not, to me, it doesn't look as appealing as the one that was listed. Obviously that one could have gone for more, I didn't check, but you've got original cabinets, you've got the yellow stove. I remember the yellow stoves and the beige fridges. That was childhood pretty much. But you got to come in here and pretty much do a lot of work to keep it up to date. The wood paneling actually looks great if you just paint over it a lot of times. And that's it. So getting hard to find condo towns under $300,000. And I think because this almost becomes the entry in the first anything, if you're looking for a townhouse with a yard, even though it has condo fees of about $300 a month, this is really the least expensive game in town, and it's floating even a little bit above 1 bedroom and 1+ den condos. It's a good position to be in for these guys. So I think they chose the right price given the fact that there's nothing underneath them. So Davis Lane is what we call a front back home, and we coined that phrase on Daily Homes. I don't think it's picked up in the general market, but the reason why is you've got a little bit of a courtyard over here. It's a semi-detached, so this is your property here. And you also have another front door right here. So 2 front doors on either side, one on Davis, one on Main Street, and then you've got a black fence here. You get a lot of noise from Main Street. So you balance that off and you say, okay, well, you're close to the library, the leisure center, the GO train. You can get on the 401 easily. Lots of shopping nearby. So there's your front door right here, tucked away behind the garage. Open concept layout. It looks clean, it looks tidy. They've done a good job prepping it. And for me though, having Main Street behind or in front, depending on how you see it, would be a tough one. I have a tough time with a busier road and hearing it when you're going to bed. And I used to live right on Bloor Street, and that's probably why, is because it was loud. Fire trucks, all the rest of it. Anyway, it's for a semi-detached at this size, you know, it's a pretty good deal, right? But you just have to be okay with the road behind you. Sove Street is just around the corner from Irma Colson, 479. There's a couple of townhouses just below this one in terms of price point. And what I like about this one are 2 things. Number one is you've got 9-foot ceilings, which makes it feel a lot less like a townhouse. And the other thing is the pond behind. So if you look through, it's not blow your mind, you know, filled with upgrades or anything like that. But I could go into a house and make it look better. I can't recreate a pond in the back. So you always look at homes through the lens of what can I change and what can't I change. And the 2 things that I just mentioned, the higher ceilings and the pond, you can't move into another home and change that, but you can change flooring, you can change paint. It's probably not as profitable, but you could even change a kitchen if you needed to. So I like this one. It's a good size for the price point with no neighbors behind. So Pickersgill is $529,900. Not a whole lot of detached underneath this one in terms of price point. It's not a very big house though. It's less than 1,400 square feet, which means the bedrooms are a little small. It's got a great main floor here. They did a chef's kitchen upgrade here. Just moldings, backsplash, did a real nice job. Tiles on diagonal. That's a good fridge there too with the 3 doors. California shutters here too, so it shows very well. My experience when I've sold these, and I've sold some nice ones too of this floor plan, is that people resist the upstairs. They find it's a little small. And you have a larger backyard because Mattamy puts 2,500 square foot homes on this size of property. And so when you have a 1,300 square foot home, or almost 14, it's 1,380 or something, you're going to find that your yard appears to be a pretty good size actually. Interlock, they've done a great job with upgrades. And maybe the same thing as Bronte is there's not really a lot underneath them, which will probably help. 426 Highside is our listing. It's at 539.9. It's on a very nice street, tree-lined, long-term neighbors, double car garage, which is very hard to find in the old part of town for under 550. So that was the positioning on this one, is it's not as big as some of the other ones that have sold past 550. But what we tried to do is dress it up with new carpet, give it a paint job. Somebody will probably come in and do some work on this kitchen, and we knew that. I mean, if it was all done, it would be well up into the fives. Heated floors downstairs in the bathroom. Got 3 bedrooms upstairs, and you've got a renovated bathroom here too. So some of the work has been started. That's a little workshop behind the garage. So it's really neat that you can have a double garage plus an area where you can have all your tools, or if you need to work on parts or anything like that, you've got the option that's built in, and then there's direct access to the backyard. Now in the backyard you've got a side yard, so you could put a table here, put a barbecue, and then you also have a hot tub with a pergola and lots of big mature trees here. So it's a fun listing. There's not many of these that have come out in 2015 and probably will come out for the rest of the year. And we've had some real good activity on it so far. Okay, next up is Duncan Lane 549-000. It's an Arista Fleming with a hot tub behind and some impressive finishes here. You've got the wainscoting, you've got a big open concept room, crown moldings. The baby grand is probably not included with this one, but it's just very open. The fireplace is the thing that gives it the separation between the rooms. Pot lights, not a bad looking kitchen too. Upgraded hardwood floors. So top to bottom, this one really has a lot of nice features. The ensuite is probably bigger than most people's master bedroom. It's huge. So good floor plan. Plus, there's a finished basement, and if I could punch holes in this listing, it would be that they showed like 10 main floor shots and 0 of the basement. And so you have to be overt when you're putting pictures up, and you have to say, hey, this is all of the features in the home. And so someone may not recognize if it does have a finished basement or not. It's also only attached by the garage, so all of the inside walls are not attached to the neighbor. Bedrooms, family room, it's still considered closer to a semi-detached, but it's like a semi-plus. It'll never obviously be categorized as a detached, but that's why it says link here, because links typically, this is more like a semi. There's also the option where they're linked underground, which is a little bit more like a detached minus with a little bit of a hit against it. So anyway, looks good. Priced very well given what else is sold. We get a bit of resistance from buyers for anything on Lederman. They find it's a busier street, and so if you're looking for a street with very low traffic, maybe this one isn't the right one for you. There's a couple homes in today's list that have everything else except for maybe one feature that would have been a good, not so low cost, but a good return on investment upgrade. And so I've always been a big fan of the Plan 4, 1835 square feet, but you can see all of the finishes that they've done: the stainless steel, the backsplash, the upgraded countertops, 9-foot ceilings on this one. They don't have the hardwood though, and it would have definitely just finished the look. Even hardwood stairs, and people say, well, the buyers can choose their own hardwood, but what's actually happening, the psychology is such that the buyers will go, oh, well, it'll cost $10,000 to put hardwood in, and it doesn't. It actually costs a lot less than that if you're smart about your investment. So what I'm trying to say is buyers tend to estimate costs. So for roofs or furnaces or hardwood floors or anything like that, more often than not, my experience is they're probably pretty close to double of what it would actually be. And so what they're doing is they're starting to hammer you down on price. So anyway, having some of those objections cleared and having it done already can make a big difference. Okay, good. And I would say that somebody who's looking for all of these upgrades would probably eventually, it's almost a guarantee that they would put hardwood on the main level. So price point is good given what else is sold for this model. So this one on McNeil is in the Beatty neighborhood. We have a lot of really good homes in the Beatty neighborhood today. It is a Pilgrim model, 1740 square feet. And this is one of those homes that, with better pictures and less clutter, would have really, really cranked the knob up. So I can see this one as being a very good looking home, but there's a lot of stuff on the walls. There's things all over the top of the cabinets. I don't know if that's a butcher block countertop or what's going on there. But even the pot racks, we've talked about that in previous episodes, how it can create the impression that, maybe there's not enough cabinet storage. The staircase looks good. It's a 4-bedroom version of the Pilgrim. Staircase looks good. I just, boy, man, like the photos generally, I would say there's another level to them. So if you went to see this one, I have a feeling it would show better than how the listing is showing it. Really like this one on white at 629, double car garage. It's a back split 4, so we talked about high side with a backside 3 or back split 3. And I've done some good work here. Matching appliances would have been another thing that a high return investment. Kitchen is such an important room, so putting in perhaps a stainless steel set to match this, having matching appliances is always a good idea. Even black appliance could have worked in this case, but you've got another nice feature that people look for, which is a pool. And the pool is off to the side, which gives you lots of green. That's the way, ladies and gentlemen, that you do a pool, is you don't put it right in the middle of the backyard. You put it off to the side, and then you have green. When you have this together, it's a winning combination. So it's looking great. Like this one a lot. Big trees, lovely neighborhood. Now this one on Valley Views at 725. Always a big fan of Valley View. It's a very quiet street, nice big lots. Now the only thing about this one that will be a little challenging in terms of the sale process is, and they've cleverly done this, is it backs onto Ontario Street. So if you look at the map here, 507's right here. It's the 4th home in on Valley View, and you can see how private. If you don't live on Valley View, there's no reason to go on it. But that's Ontario right here. There's a lot of cars that are going down. That's going to make it a little bit more challenging for them to sell, especially when they're past 7. We're going to skip a few. We're going to go to Auger Terrace. Some people have called it Auger. It's one of those streets that is very tight-knit. It's quiet. Same thing. Low traffic as Valley View. If you don't live on Auger, I'm going to call it Auger, then you don't really go on it. Potentially, this could have been a place where they maybe had a hot tub or something like that. Inside, it's about 3,000 square feet. It's a floor plan that I've always really liked. And yeah, you're not getting the new. You can tell there's a little bit of dated elements to this home, but it's not. It's still very, very charming. It just is different. It was built in a different generation. Even there's some wood outside, whereas now they're doing most of it with like a vinyl cap. But the trees are larger. Yeah, the lots are bigger. You don't find a 73-foot wide lot anywhere in the new area. And so $829 is a good price. There was one on Stern that I thought was a little high last week, but it ended up selling very quickly in the high 7s, and this one has about 150 square feet plus a finished basement on top of that. So looks good to me. Now if you want to crank it up a little bit more, you can go to a 3,700 square foot home with a finished basement backing on a green space on Tuxford. So the photo gallery looks decent. They've got some upgrades in the kitchen. This is a big house. When you walk into this home, it's called a Westmoreland model. every bedroom has access to a bathroom. I was going to say has its own bathroom, but that's not true. A lot of them are Jack and Jill's, and then you've got a basement with a bit of an apartment style setup, and then you've got your green space behind there too. That's the Union gas pipeline trail that goes right through kind of the center of Milton, halfway between Derry and Louis St. Laurent. So there you go. This one looks good. Tuxford is one of those streets where people stay on for a pretty long time. There's very low turnover on this street. And next up is another beauty home. This is a Tothberg model. We've seen some nice Tothbergs go for around the kind of 820 to 840, 850 range. And it's got some good landscaping. It's a little bit more basic inside. There's not a huge amount of upgrades here. And when you're up in the 8s, you got to have a little bit of sizzle to your home. It's just, I mean, people like that. This is the home that people kind of land in and they stay there for a while. So even though they know they can do work, we get into that same principle as I talked about, where they start saying, well, a new kitchen's going to be $50,000 and so on and so forth. So the pool is the thing that, to me, is really going to be the booster on this one. And Mara Circle, the same as some of the other streets we talked about, like Augur, is that you don't really go on this street unless you live on it. We're going to finish today's episode with two rural properties. We've got this one here on First Line, so it's 1st and 15th, and it's a 4-bedroom bungalow, and so it's on about 1.5 acres. It's much more common to see a 3-bedroom bungalow, but you've got a triple car garage. You've got nice architectural features here and a decent looking kitchen with kind of an interesting layout. I like the way the island is a different shape. And you have, I assume that's a lot of closet space there, and access to an ensuite. You've got the invisible staircase here and a walkout, it looks like, from the basement too. So lots of lovely features here. And if you're paying attention, we have a bidet. I don't know why we like bidets on daily homes. I have, in truth, never used one, and a pool in the back. So nice. It's just well put together. The triple garage is a good thing at this price point at $875. A lot of times we see the triple garage in the 7 figures. Finally, we have 7166 Guelph Line 889, and so it's on the curve of Guelph Line, just north of Derry, and you're getting kind of south end of Campbellville, heading down towards Lowville, and again, a very nice looking home for around the same price point that we just talked about. Lots of kitchen storage here. It looks like it has a big open concept kitchen, and nicely kept. I would say that these two, for under $900, I've seen a lot worse than these two. These are actually, I think, standing out in this price range. And there you go there. So you've got, what are we looking at for acreage here? I think you're probably about an acre on this one. And the thing with being on Guelph Line, which is a bit of a busier street, is you just want to make sure that you're far enough away from the street that you're not being bothered by the traffic that goes along. But besides that, it's looking pretty good to me. So that is the list, 27 properties. If you want to see anything in the list, or if you have any questions about buying or selling real estate in Milton, just reach out to us. Give us an email, respond back to any of the episodes that land in your inbox, or you can call us at 905-693-9346. Have a great day, and we'll see you tomorrow with more Milton Daily Homes.